Hi, my name is Renata and I would like to welcome you to another art journaling process in which I will show you step by step a bunch of fun mixed media techniques. Today's page I will start by stamping focal images, and I will stamp them on this paper, as you can see, which is made for coloring with alcohol markers. The stamp set that you see on the screen is called You've Got Mail from the Signature Collection release from Art by Marlene. But the other stamp set is called The Little Jar, and it is from the Back to Nature release. Off screen I will stamp these images using Memento Tuxedo Black ink, as I will use my Spectrum Noir 3-color markers to color the images. No matter whether I use colored pencils or alcohol markers, coloring the focal images is usually taking a lot of time for me, so I won't bore you with the whole process, and instead let's go to the other more fun parts. So now those images were colored and fussy cut, and you can see them in the upper right corner, by the way. I went on to some more stamping, but this time I will stamp directly on my paper. This paper that I'm using, and which will be the base for my art journal page, is from the Handy Size Journal, and here you can see me testing out my planned layout. But now for stamping I will use VersaFine ink in Onyx Black color, as it is a pigment ink which once dry becomes permanent. So later on, when I use my watercolors for coloring the background, it won't get smudged. Now, as you can see, the height of the tree stamp is almost perfect for the height of my art journal page, but almost. So to fix that, I decided to just draw the rest of the tree following the pattern which was already there. For drawing the pattern, I will use a Pigma Micron pen in black color, as it is also permanent. And then I think it can't actually be even seen that I extended the pattern. Now for coloring my background, I will use the Art by Marlene watercolor set, which she has released recently. And as you can see, I am using one of the green colors to color the grass. And then a couple of shades of brown for coloring the tree. When working with watercolors, there are no really fancy techniques, at least not on this project of mine, but it is all about layering the colors until you get the desired intensity. Oh, and I forgot to say that the brush that I'm using is also from Art by Marlene, as she already has a couple of sets of brushes, some of them for acrylic paints and these for watercolors. For coloring the background, as I wanted some kind of a night effect, I didn't have the exact color that I had imagined, so I combined one of the blue colors with black. But then again, I had to layer these colors until I got the desired intensity. At this point, I felt my tree a bit naked, so I wanted to add a bit foliage. And in the stamp set that I previously used, called You've Got Mail, there are two little stamps that are actually perfect for this. This time for stamping I used an archival ink in peeled paint color. But also to further add depth to my grass, I will use two stamps from the exclusive texture stamp set. And here I wanted to show you that if it happens that you don't have the inks in the desired colors, you can use watercolors for stamping as well. Now here at the start I was stamping a bit of the camera, but I hope here you can see what I mean. Some of the stamp prints were a bit light, so they can't really be seen well on the camera, but trust me, it is there, and it really helps with adding the depth to your project, as later on I will also add some darker shades. When you wish to add depth to your project, it really helps to be brave and use different shades, but also some different colors. Like here I will use some yellow for my grass, but also some darker brown as well. But I think the effect of this will best be seen on the end images. Okay, so when I was fussy cutting my lantern, it was obviously too hard to cut the string on which the lantern is hanging, so you can either draw it yourself or just stamp it as I will do it here. Stamping your image before adhering the fussy cut version really helps with those really tiny and hard to cut details. Now, guess what? I have finally got my first set of pan pastels, but as they were really new to me, you can see I was a bit heavy-handed with the pigment. As I wanted to add just a slight light, I wasn't too successful with it, but good thing you can always stretch it a bit, spread it and remove the excess, so at the end it will really work out. And here I'm even using another shade to add a bit of blue tint to my dark evening scene. In case you don't have pan pastels, this could have easily been achieved with some ink in blue color. Now I am adding some white splatters the lazy way, using a white Posca pen. I don't know why, but I didn't feel my background completely right, wasn't really satisfied with it yet. So I decided to use a darker blue shade of Distress Oxide, but honestly this didn't do much for my project, so I gave up quite soon. And instead I took Distress Oxide in black color just to darken up the edges, and then finally I was happy with the result. This is one of those things in which I might be repeating myself, but I really think that darkening the edges of your project helps to drag the viewer's eye to the focal images of your art journal page. Now it was time to adhere my images, and for that I am using Art by Marlene Sticky Multi-Glue. Now let's not forget the quote, and this time I chose a really tiny one, but I think it really fit my page. And it says, "Fly with me." This page is perfect example of one of those cases when I just feel like adding some details more and more. And this time I felt like I need some little bit more sparkle of color. So I am using the Posca markers in yellow and purple color to add a little bit of life to my page. Anyway, this was about last detail that I added, but if you want to see more pages from me, subscribe to my channel, but also click on some of those art journal pages at the end screen for more inspiration. Bye!